Hey, what's going on YouTube? DIY Murphy bed. Coming up. So in my girlfriend's office here, slash our guest bedroom, she wanted to have a little bit more space on a regular basis, and the best way to do that was a Murphy bed. A few weeks ago, we had a video on the tile that we did in here. Before that, I replaced the door after one of our dogs chewed through it. And now we're doing the Murphy bed. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the process of building it, some of the mistakes I made, some of the tools that I used, and then we'll show you the end results. So the first thing that I'm wanting to get started with is the part that holds the actual mattress, that does the folding part that folds up into the cabinet. I have a couple of the strips cut already, but I paused here because I wanted to make sure that I had all the right measurements. I am following the instructions for the most part, but I went through and created some new measurements, crossed out some of the pieces that I'm not going to use because I'm not making it exactly the same as what they have here. But I also needed to adjust the measurements because we are going with a twin XL mattress, which is 80 inches long, instead of a twin mattress, which is only 75 inches long. The instructions here are for 75 inches. So if you check out the link in the description, you'll be able to see that they have different kits based on your configuration. We are doing a twin vertical, they have a twin horizontal, they have full vertical and horizontal, I believe queen, and so on. There's a bunch of different options in there, so check them out. And I'm guessing that the instructions are what changes. The parts probably don't change, but the instructions probably do. So I made a few of the first cuts here. I am using this kit from Craig that allows me to do rip cuts nice and easy. So if you're not familiar with it, check it out because it definitely makes things easier. All right, following the instructions here, we marked the wood. We got to drill a hole for this to fit into. So it's going to fit into something like that. It's actually, since this is the outside, it's actually going to fit onto here like that. So I used a Forstner bit because I don't have very good luck with spade bits. I usually blow out the back sides. So I went ahead and used a Forstner bit to try and get a better looking hole. Now we had to mark the other ends to be able to fit the legs in here. They have a nut on the back side, so we want to recess that into the wood. So that's what we're going to do here. And a Forstner bit is going to be the best tool for the job in this situation as well. So a good set of Forstner bits will go a long ways. On the edge here, or the corner, the foot, where the legs go, you can choose to leave them square like this. I'm going to choose to round them. I just use the edge of the bracket as a template. I am using pocket holes for this project again, because if you put them on the backside and hide them, you don't even have to worry about patching them. So here it is. We have the bottom part of it. This is the part that folds out. This will hold the mattress. The instructions have a little bit more of a box and a frame. If I get this put together and the mattress sits too low, I can always add stuff in here. It wouldn't be that big a deal. But it does have it raising it up and then a whole nother platform in here, kind of making it like a, I wouldn't even call it a box spring because it's not a spring, but it would just be another layer raising the mattress up. So I'll get this together and see if I need to do that or not. Right now I just did it like this because this is less wood, less materials, and since I'm using 3/4 inch plywood, it is plenty strong enough. I have it supported on the two corners and back here, and I stood in the middle, worst case scenario, to see how it would handle, and it didn't seem to flex. All right, so at this point we have a lot of the pieces inside, and some of them are painted. So this is the bottom portion, side portion, a couple of the other pieces are there, a couple of the other pieces are there. Those are some additional pieces that we don't need to paint, or at least right now. We'll have some touch up once we get this assembled, which is what we are about to do. You have to do some of the painting before you assemble it because you won't be able to get in there once it's assembled, or at least it'll be difficult. So I didn't put these on prior to painting because I didn't want to have to paint around them. But I also didn't pre-drill the holes over here. These ones need to be pre-drilled. These are just regular screws. But these three are Chicago style screws, which is, I think, is what they're called. Got like a collar and then a screw that goes into it. And the biggest reason I should have drilled these first is I can't get the drill into this corner, so I'm using this right angle adapter. These ones I did pre-drill. If I didn't say it earlier, I told you, lots of pocket screws. But this is going to be the top side and you won't be able to see it, so it doesn't matter. So it's mostly assembled. I have one more piece, but that's kind of like the headboard. I want to do that with it opened up to decide where I want to land that piece right in here. And something to take note, especially using 3/4 inch plywood, it's not likely that I would have been able to get this in here assembled. I needed to assemble it in here. If we ever move and want to take this with us, I'm going to have to disassemble it. That's why I'm not using glue in order to put it together. I'll have to take it apart in order to move it. The bottom part of it was heavy enough, and this is just a twin XL size, so this isn't even a full or queen or king, and that would be considerably heavier. So now I'm going to attempt to put these shocks in here. I missed a step and I went a little bit farther than I should have. So I'm going to hope for the best. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get these on here or not. We still have some more finishing touches to do. Obviously you can see that we still have some painting. I don't know if you can see it from there. One thing that I want to note, I got ahead of myself and I didn't attach these first and I assembled this top part. This piece right here keeps the bed from going in too far. If you can't push it in farther, you can't attach these. So you have to attach the struts first, then put this in there, which is a limiter. Be aware of that. I had to take that all apart again to attach those and then put it back together. So not terribly happy about that. We had to screw it to the wall in order to open this. We could not open it unless we did so. I could not hold this in place while she opened it. We weren't strong enough to do it. The struts were just too strong. There's a weight at the foot of the bed. We're about to touch the mattress to see if there's enough weight from the mattress to hold that down. So before we test the mattress, we're gonna put a mattress protector on there. We grabbed this one off from Amazon. In the past, we've gotten mattress protectors from Mattress Firm. We just didn't like them. It was more like a fitted sheet and they just didn't come clean. This one we had on another bed and she spilled Gatorade on it and we washed it and it came clean. Didn't get through the mattress and this one zips up. So the mattress goes into more of a pouch rather than just a fitted sheet. So that's why we got another one of these. If you're interested, again, link will be in the description. So the answer is no. The mattress is not heavy enough to keep this down. The struts are too strong. Okay, I got some trim on here to help with aesthetics, makes it look more complete. I got the handles on here, but I did run into a problem because I was not thinking fourth dimensionally again, just like I did with the struts. I have a real problem with that. Let me show you what I forgot. So I did end up adding some extra wood in here to raise it up. I just put in 2.5 inch tall, 3/4 inch strips across going vertically and then set a 1/2 inch piece of plywood down on top of it. I did notch the ends here for the legs to fold into, but I did that before putting the handles on. So I had to drill holes in here in order to get the screws down inside there. Luckily, I didn't drop any screws inside there, so they're not gonna be rattling around in there, but I didn't wanna have to detach the whole thing and lift it up and try and get those in there. So it was easier just to drill holes in here to get the screws into the back sides of the handle. 3 inches may not sound like a lot, but it actually raised the mattress up enough that I'm comfortable with it. So really all I have left to do is to attach the nightstands. I got the drawers sitting over there. I got to throw some handles on those and then it's done. So as you can see, there's a lot more room in here. The wide angle lens might make it look a little small in here, but it's not a terribly big room. I think it's like 12 by 11 or something like that, 11 by 10. It's not huge, but it's not a really tiny room. But we wanted to have some more room in here on a regular basis, and this accomplished that. So this is the way it turned out. We threw some handles on here so that we can actually pull it down. We've got some trim on here to make it look a little bit less plain and a little bit like a cabinet. I threw a couple of nightstands on there. Just a couple pieces of 3/4 inch plywood, made some simple drawers, nothing fancy. So with the drawers, I didn't use any drawer slides. I just made a box for them to slide in and out. This drawer, I did put like a little notch back here and a hole up there so that we can pass cords down below, because there's an outlet down here. And then it just mirrors it on the other side, minus the spot for the cords. And those are just attached to the side with more pocket holes. So putting it down is fairly easy. Just open it up, grab the legs, and set it down. There's a strap that the kit came with to hold the mattress in place for when you put it up in there. Since we didn't have storage in here, we're using the strap to hold one of the blankets for the bed, and then we just shoved the 2 pillows up there. I was actually going to make a cabinet up there, but that space isn't big enough. If it was just the twin instead of the twin XL, I probably would have had enough space to make a cabinet up there, but since we went with the XL, there's not. You can see where the headboard landed. There's plenty of protection against the wall for pillows or anything like that. Some of the other things you could change, you could use like an entire back panel here and not even see any of the actual wall. You can make these bigger or smaller if you want to. Same thing with the pieces going across the bottom. You could use a full piece. You could just use strips, bigger or smaller. So there's a lot of variation and a lot of things that you could do differently. The instructions did not have anything for the side nightstands. That was all me. And like I mentioned earlier, I did end up putting that extra platform to raise it up another 3 inches. I also went to Big 5 and grabbed 2 2.5-pound weights, just like the round disc weights, and I screwed those to the end of the bed here to help hold it down, because as you saw earlier, we had to use a weight to hold it down. Now I did that, and then I decided to do the platform, or raise it up, whatever you want to call it. That may have been enough weight, but the weights are screwed down on the inside of that, and I'm not going to take it apart to get them. It's fine like this. It stays up. It's easy to put down. It's not too heavy, so I'm just going to leave it like that. My girlfriend did sleep on it the last 2 nights because we were tiling our bedroom and had the bed tipped up on its side. So she slept in here and I slept out on the couch. But it worked just fine for her, and it also worked fine for the person that we had stay here to watch the dogs while we went on a short little vacation for my birthday last month. And I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It looks really good and keeps the floor clean. All in all, we probably spent about $700 to $800 on the lumber, the hardware, the Murphy bed kit. The cheapest one that I found was about $900, but it was all MDF. One person commented when I did a video on the kit that the MDF was more like less structural parts, and it's still, the instructions still say to use 3/4 inch plywood on the structural parts. I just used 3/4 inch plywood pretty much everywhere except for the deck right here underneath the mattress. I used 1/2 inch plywood. So this did end up being really heavy, but it's also really sturdy, and I feel more confident that this will last longer than say the $900 one that was made out of MDF. So we saved a little bit of money, but gonna have a little bit more durability and last a little bit longer. It did take a decent amount of time, so that's something that you would have to weigh yourself. Now, if we were gonna go with something bigger, like a full size, queen size or king size, then the materials would be, the material cost would obviously be more. But when you're talking those sizes, the cheapest I found was like $1,500, and up from there. When you're actually talking about made out of wood and good quality, we found one that was actually local, and they started at $5,000 and went up. Myself, I would rather build it myself than spend that kind of money, but everybody's different. So I understand the need and the desire for the store. I just wouldn't spend $5,000 on it because I'd rather spend that on other things if I had it. But in the last few videos, I've been mentioning on difficulty level and how much work. This is going to be on the upper end, a little bit more difficult, a lot more work, but very satisfied with the way it turned out. Some of the tools I showed earlier could make it easier for you to accomplish something like that. So if you want, you can check out some of the links in the description below. You can also find the Murphy bed kit there as well. And for other DIY videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And until the next project, we will catch you on the next one. See ya.